Good morning, children. Let's begin with the lesson. If you remember, last time we started with chapter number 3, that is force and pressure. In that, last time we finished with what is force, what are the different types of force. So let's just have a small recap and then we can proceed ahead. So we studied about definition of force and then we studied about contact and non-contact forces. Different examples of contact forces and different examples of non-contact forces. Then we also studied about balanced and unbalanced force. So balanced force means when there is no net movement or no net displacement. Unbalanced force is the one which causes displacement of any object. Now next concept today we are going to start with is inertia. Now what is inertia? Inertia, in short, you can say that ability of an object to be in the state of rest or in state of constant motion, uniform motion, is called as inertia, which means that if the body is moving, it tries to be moving, keep moving, and if the object is at rest, it tries to be at rest. So from this we can conclude that inertia means unless we apply the force, or if the force is not applied to any object, it will continue either in the state of rest or in the state of motion. So that ability, that property of any object is called as inertia. Now there are three types of inertias. First is inertia of rest. That means if the object is at rest, it tries to be at rest. It tries to resist the force applied. Example, if there is a huge stone, I think this example I gave you last period also. If there is a huge stone on a mountain, if we push it, we need large amount of force to make the stone moving. So initially we have to apply large amount of force. That more force is required to break the inertia of rest of that object. This was example about inertia of rest. Next is inertia of motion. That means if the object is moving, it tries to be, or it tends to be, keep moving. Example, you are sitting in a car and suddenly, or you are sitting in a bus, the bus is moving. What happens when the driver suddenly applies the brake? You will see that the front portion of your body goes forward. Like you might have seen or experienced this, that when you are traveling in a bus and if suddenly the brake is applied, even on a bike, you bend forward. So why does this happen? Because our body was in the state of motion. When the brake was applied, the bus came to stop, but your body tried to keep moving forward. Same thing happens when, suppose just take an example, if there is a luggage on a car, kept on the top of the car, which is not tied properly, and the car is moving. If the brake is applied, what will happen? The luggage will come forward and fall down on the road in front of the car. So why had this happened? Again, when the car was in motion, the luggage was also in continuous motion. When the brake was applied, the car stopped, but the ability or the tendency of the luggage was to be in the state of motion, so it still continues to move forward. Another example you can give of fan. Even when you switch off the button, the fan still for some time keeps moving. So that is due to inertia of motion. And third is inertia of direction. Now if object is moving in one certain direction, it tries to keep in that direction, or if it is moving in a straight line, it tries to move in straight line. It does not tend to change the direction. Now again take example, if you had gone in amusement park, or you might have sat in some kind of toy train which turns abruptly. So when you are moving in one direction, it suddenly turns, you get a opposite direction push. Or when a car is traveling in straight line and suddenly it turns, you move in the opposite direction because your body ability was to move in some other direction, but the direction of the car or the vehicle was changed suddenly. Your body still tries to keep in the same previous direction. So this is called an inertia of direction. So three types of inertia: inertia of rest, inertia of motion, inertia of direction. Inertia of motion, one more example we can take. If we are sitting straight without reclining back in a car and a car suddenly starts, what happens? You get a backward push. The car moves forward and you move slightly backward if it starts suddenly and your back is not resting. Then that, why does this happen? Again, the body was in the state of rest, but the vehicle started moving, but our body started to be on the previous position itself. That is why our body gets a backward jerk. Another example which is given in your textbook is of a glass, empty glass, on which we have kept a cardboard and a 5 rupee coin we have to keep on the cardboard. And if you, like how you hit the striker of a carom, if you hit the same way to the cardboard, what will happen? The cardboard will move away but the coin will fall down. So why does this happen? We had applied the force to the cardboard on which the coin was kept, but still the coin remained, or it fell into the glass and the cardboard flew away. So why does this happen? The coin was in inertia of rest. That is why it tried to be in the state of rest. So this was all about inertia. Now next concept is of pressure. So what is pressure? Exam ka pressure, result ka pressure. So what is that pressure? Okay. So pressure, what we get in our brain, we cannot call that as pressure. That is called as tension, or that may be called as stress. In physics, when you study, the pressure is force applied per unit area. How much force is applied on how much area? That is termed as pressure. Now, examples of pressure. Okay. Now, I told you that pressure is force applied on per unit area, or force applied upon the area on which the force is applied. So let's have some examples of pressure. Now, if you ever seen somebody on petrol pump, by pressure they are filling the air, or they are checking what is the pressure in the vehicle's tire. Tire pressure, how do they measure? They have an instrument. They have to just they have a knob which they have to put it on the tire. So it shows how much pressure of air is inside the tire. If it is less, they fill more air. If it is more, they remove the air from the tire. So that is pressure applied. Another example of pressure. Now take two pins, one which is a blunt and the other which is sharp, and try to poke both of them into the cardboard. Which one will go easily inside the cardboard? Obviously the one which is sharp. So when the pin is sharp, the surface area of the tip of the pin is less as compared to the blunt one. The blunt one has more surface area. So when we are applying the force by our thumb, if it is applied on less area, more effect is filled. That more effect is actually the pressure. When you apply more pressure on less area, the impact is more. And on the other hand, even if you apply more pressure on more area, then the impact is less. That is why you can easily pin in the sharp pin into the cardboard, and the one which is blunt will not go easily in spite of applying large amount of force. So that shows what is pressure. So pressure increases if the surface area on which the force is applied decreases. Another example, you hammer the nail into the wall. The one nail which is sharp can easily get hammered, and the one nail which is not sharp, what will happen with that? You cannot hammer it easily. You have to apply more and more force on it so that it goes in. But the sharp one, even in less force, it can easily penetrate the wall. So why does this happen? By hammer, when you are hitting it, the force applied by hammer concentrates on very small point. That means all the force get concentrated in a small area and the effect is seen in larger amount. So that is how you can feel the pressure. Now, have you ever imagined why the people who carry water on their head, have you seen they just have a towel or something, they make a round, they wind the towel and keep it on their head and then they keep a pot on it. So why do they do so? When that pot is kept directly on the head, entire mass of pot will be on one point on your head. That will give you large amount of pressure. But when you are winding the cloth and keeping it on your head, what will happen? The mass or the weight or the force applied by the pot will get distributed evenly on the all surfaces and we will not feel the pressure or pain in our head. Another example, how long can you keep standing? 1 hour, max 2 hours. After that, what will happen? Your legs will start paining. Not even 1 hour. I had seen during our annual day or during the Independence Day, in half an hour our legs start paining when you are standing. But you can sleep for 8 hours. So how does this happen that we can sleep for a long time but we cannot stand for a long time? The reason behind that is when we are standing, entire mass, entire weight, the force of all our body is felt on a very small area of our legs. So entire mass of our body is carried only on a small area. So we feel pain in our legs because of all the force applied on a small area. The effect is more. But when we are sleeping, the mass of our body entirely is on large area on the bed. So here what happens? The pressure is equally distributed everywhere. That is why we do not feel pain when we are sleeping. Another example, the straps of your bag which you carry, school bag, they are broad. If imagine they are very thin, what would happen? What will happen if the strips or the straps of your bag are very, very thin? You will get the marks due to applied pressure, because more pressure, more force on less area creates a large impact. Okay. Another example, sharp knife and blunt knife. Which one will cut easily? The sharp knife, because very thin edges, and even if you apply less force, immediately it will go inside the fruit or whatever thing you are cutting. With the blunt, we have to apply more force to show the impact. Why? Because larger surface area. So this is all about pressure. Now, unit of pressure. Now I told you the definition of pressure. Pressure is force applied per unit area. So pressure is equal to force upon area on which the force is applied. P is equal to F upon A, force upon area. So the unit of force. Now unit of pressure. What is pressure measured in? Pressure is measured in Newton per meter square. Force is measured in Newton and area is measured in meter square or centimeter square. So here P is equal to F upon A. Unit of F is N, Newton, and unit of A, area, is meter square. So the unit of pressure becomes N, that is Newton per meter square. Another unit which is used is Pascal. Okay, so 1 Newton per meter square is called as Pascal. Okay, and again 1 bar also we have. 1 bar is nothing but 10 raised to 5 Pascal. Raised to matlab 10 into 10 into 10 into 10 into 10, 5 times. That is 10 raised to 5. So 1 First of all, pressure is measured in Newton per meter square. 1 Newton per meter square means 1 Pascal, and 1 bar means 10 raised to 5 Pascals. So this was all about pressure. Next period we will be dealing with pressure on solids, pressure on liquids, and pressure on gases. So I hope this much part is clear to you. Please do all your work on time. Thank you.